What started as an independent trailer ballooned into a viral video and now has been reimagined into one of the most talked about shows on Peacock. But has divesting from its comedy sitcom source material removed all of the heart from Will Smith and the Banks family? What's really good, y'all, and welcome to HEELKAIJU. I'm your host, Spotted Menace, and in a world of remakes, reboots, and reimaginings, we wanted to take a look at what's changed, what stayed the same, and if it's worth the watch. But before we get started, y'all know the drill. Go ahead and drop a subscription over here to HEELKAIJU. We're trying to make the slow march to 5K. Let's see if we can get there by the end of the year. But for now, on to the show. In 2019, a fan-made film directed by Morgan Cooper dropped on YouTube depicting a much more dramatic and, dare I say, grittier version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. In only 3.5 minutes, it brought us new characterizations for Will Smith, Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv, and, well, everyone else. Cut to 2022, and those same sort of depictions persist in the full series Bel-Air on Peacock, and it makes sense. Morgan Cooper was tapped to develop and write for the show, ensuring his vision was maintained during the jump from a brief fan trailer to the streaming service. Hell, they used the same song from his trailer, Deja Vu by Easy McCoy, as the opening credits in Bel-Air. Much of the story and the casting remains the same. Will Smith gets into trouble in West Philadelphia. His mom, Vi, sends him to live with her sister and brother-in-law to keep him safe, and Will experiences a drastic culture shock. The family makeup remains static too. You got your Uncle Phil, Aunt Viv, Carlton, Hillary, Ashley, Jeffrey, and tagging along is friend Jazz, but that's really where the similarities start to deviate. Let's start with the reason why Will left West Philly in the first place. In The Fresh Prince, Will's altercation is played up for laughs as though him and his mother overreacted to the mere hint of trouble coming Will's way. In Bel-Air, however, the gravity of the situation hits immediately in the show's run. It's not vague, it's real. Will runs afoul of, you know what? I'm gonna let Jeffrey say it because he puts it just perfectly.
Little scrap on the bull court, got nasty. Now some bad man from Philly wanted to deal with you.
Perfect. And it's not just an ass whooping that's awaiting Will if he steps foot back in Philly. Nah, pulling a piece on the local dope boy is a death sentence, so there's real consequences for Will's actions. Not to mention, he got arrested for possession of a firearm, and the choice is pretty clear. Do a bid, get clapped, or uproot and move across the continent. The culture shock remains the same, but the family dynamic has shifted in some ways. Uncle Phil is still fiercely protective with political ambitions to change a system he's in some way a part of. Aunt Viv is loving and warm, imparting wisdom and showing off a quick wit when she sees a need, though in this version she's shifted from a dancer to a painter. Ashley is, well, Ashley, still coming of age and finding out who she is, not just as a person, but where she fits in the family. Though this version of Ashley, instead of chasing after boys like a young Tevin Campbell, is trying to understand and explore her orientation. The next three get the biggest changes though. Jeffrey is no longer just a butler. He's a
House manager.
It's implied he's an enforcer. A fixer of sorts meant to ensure that the family is protected in all forms. His guidance is not just accepted, but in many cases sought after by most of the family members. And I'm pretty sure he's got a couple of bodies to his name. Hillary is no longer vapid and shallow like in The Fresh Prince. She's ambitious, if a little directionless. Or at least that's how others see her. The shift from fledgling talk show host to social media influencer is a nice change considering the climate of media consumption in the present day, and it feels pretty realistic. Just because she has followers doesn't mean she knows how to turn those views into cash, and so she's still living in the pool house. What makes Hillary's change so welcome is in the way they let her be a character more than a Valley Girl punchline. Not to say the latter is bad. Hillary sometimes gets some of the biggest laughs from me on the show, but this Hillary has a moral compass and a sense of duty. And sometimes that's often contradictory. For example, she pushes back against a magazine wanting her to change her recipes from a much broader audience, and she refuses. willing to help cause a schism in her mother Vivian's relationship with one of her sorors. Later in the show, she's willing to take the benefits of dressing down and showing off her body in a video, The Thirsty Chef, despite previously being apprehensive, outright apoplectic that the video was uploaded without her consent or knowledge. This may seem like bad characterization, but I love this little bit of nuance in Hillary. The magazine wanted to change who she was and change the recipes handed down generation after generation, and that was a deal breaker. The video, on the other hand, showed a side of her she wasn't ready to show, but when she saw how it was well received, was willing to compromise, and that, in my opinion, came from the fact that this was on her own merit, not a deal secured by her mother that made her more willing, and it's a nice touch. And Carlton, oh my lord, Carlton. This is the biggest change on the show for me, and boy is it a doozy. Carlton in Fresh Prince was dorky, goofy, out of touch, and out of place in almost every situation, even in places where he's cultivated an identity for himself. He was Will's foil on the show, a punchline, and a punching bag. In Bel-Air, Carlton is a prince in his own kingdom. Incredibly smart, very personable in certain environments. He's cool and calculated to the point that he's a dangerous character through and through. He's also imperfect, battling addiction and legitimate anxiety for being pushed to be an example of perfection, a rock for the family, someone unflappable despite the weight of the world pressing down upon him. The biggest narrative change, though, is around the conversation and context of race, namely blackness. Throughout Fresh Prince's run, they touched upon race in several episodes, from Will and Carlton being racially profiled.
Get out of the car, Carlton. What? He's going to tell us to get out of the car. You watch too much TV, Will. Get out of the car.
To Uncle Phil losing his roots and connection with the movement.
But now I have a family, and I choose not to fight in the streets. I have an office to fight from. And I have fought and won cases for fair housing, affirmative action, health care.
To Carlton being called out at the frat house for not being black enough.
Being black isn't what I'm trying to be, it's what I am. I'm running the same race and jumping the same hurdles you are, so why are you tripping me up?
These episodes maintained the heart and humor of the show when necessary and brought real drama to drive the point home. The thing is, the Fresh Prince's handling of race and blackness throughout the show is honestly a little reactive. Outside of a few fish out of water situations or I'm black so I can't do this white thing comments and jokes, the perspective seems to be primarily activated while in crisis mode. With Bel-Air, it's at the forefront of most stories. It's unapologetic. It's named frequently while refusing to allow it to be stripped from the essence of the show, regardless of whether a character's sense of self is being assailed. For instance, recalling Hillary's refusal to water down her recipes for haute cuisine.
So, I was talking to someone the other day, and the conversation made me want to ask y'all, what are you willing to give up for a high-profile job?
I just wanna do my thing.
Your boo? Damn! You may want to reconsider that relationship. Okay, so look, I was offered a high-profile job, and I turned it down because they were trying to make me change my recipes. My recipes, they are my culture. I mean, some of the food that I showed y'all was passed down from my grandmother, and I'm not watering down a recipe so Becky in Ohio can feel more comfortable.
Her relationship with the major cultural marker, that respect and reverence for past lessons and traditions, goes beyond that simple decision. You see it in her characterization episodes later, and it's even shown in other family members, like Will's mother Vi on his birthday, cooking breakfast for him. Carlton has had his quote-unquote black card checked a few times, like in The Fresh Prince.
Day one at Bel-Air Academy, and you're already playing the race card. Good job,
I'm pulling
Will.
a race call, Carlton. Yo, so let me get this straight, man. You really don't have a problem with a white boy saying nigga right in front of your face. You lay hands on me first. Where I come from, that's a green light to ground a nigga up.
You know, it's funny how the N-word magically appears whenever you talk about getting violent with a black person, and yet you think you're better than Connor.
But even outside of those crisis situations, he still considers himself to be an example of black excellence.
Look at us. Pure, unadulterated, black excellence.
Period.
And Uncle Phil, just like in the previous iteration, gets called out for losing touch with his roots in favor of class matriculation, but in Bel-Air, it's less about a connection with a vaunted movement that's been mythologized and commodified so much it's lost meaning in a way. Instead, his connection is with his fraternity, his brotherhood, his community as a whole, and his mentorship, guidance, and connection in the present, or lack thereof, takes on different meaning compared to them assailing him for forgetting his past activism. It's a living connection that actively shows how the influence of community leaders is not just necessary, but also functioning within the community. Now, with all that said, I'm pretty sure the reason you're likely sat through all of this is to get the answer to the question. Is it good? Tell you the truth? Yeah. It's so well written. The characters are alive and varied and motivated. You're heartbroken with each setback and you want to see everyone win and improve and succeed. And yes, that even includes Carlton. It's likely one of the best weekly shows that I watch. That is an Abbott Elementary. Y'all go ahead and we'll cast that too. Congratulations on getting renewed for a second season. Got that stuck in my throat. It is, however, a stark deviation from the source material. So if you're looking for the same comedy, the same pratfalls, the same stories from the same perspectives, this isn't it. But if you want a good drama that retains its heart and has a message and absolutely leaves you wanting to come back to each subsequent episode, then this is for you. Hey, I want to thank you all for watching. If you made it all the way through this video, you a real one. And if you liked it, go ahead and drop a like. If you have any suggestions for upcoming reboot, remakes, or recaps, head over to patreon.com/HEELKAIJU and let us know. Have a safe and golden day. Deuces.